Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady, where Karen thinks she can eat for free and then leave without paying and then gets banned from the store. If you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because I upload daily Reddit content. And now, without wasting any more time, let's dive right in. Rude lady thinks she can eat for free and leave. Now banned from our store. Backstory. There's a lady who will come into our store, usually around noon, with 4 annoying and loud, misbehaving children. Of course, she's completely oblivious to all of this. Yay, she would pack all of them into the cart, pick out some sort of produce, apples, bananas, oranges, etc. and give it to them to hold, and the kids would eat all of it. Then she would come up to the register and give me the whole "Oops, I'm sorry, I did not even see that I did that." I would call my manager and basically ask, what the F am I supposed to weigh? And usually they would either get the same amount of whatever produce and she would complain that she had not gotten that much. Or, mine were way smaller. So my manager would just wave it off and let it go. Today she did not get away with it because my manager and I were in a bad mood. I was quietly working at my register when I heard the parade of obnoxious children run into the store with the lady on her phone completely ignoring them. Shocker, she piled all of them into the cart and headed straight for the produce. I continued working at my register and lost track of her until she came up to my register. She huffed and puffed at the little old lady in front of her, writing a check, while all of her children were screaming in her cart. She is still on the phone and I hear the rude lady talking semi-quietly on her phone. Rude lady:
"Yeah, I will be home soon. There's a slow as heck in front of me."
Thankfully, the little old lady, who is literally maybe the nicest person I've ever met, does not hear that well, so she had missed RL's comment. After hearing that, I purposefully take my damn sweet time processing her check and asking her how her grandchildren are doing. I finish bagging her groceries and send them in her cart. As she's pulling away, RL decides she's not going fast enough and actually pushes her out of the way with her cart. RL:
"Sorry."
This little old lady frowns and walks away. Now the real fun begins. Before she says anything, I notice that each child has banana peels in their laps and the youngest has banana all over their face. There's even a peel inside RL's purse. RL:
"My kids ate these. Here."
She proceeds to grab and dump all of the peels onto my register and starts to leave. Me: "Ma'am, I need some sort of payment. You cannot just leave after eating all of these." RL turns and glares at me. She backs up a little. RL:
"Just weigh the peels or something. I don't have time for this."
I glare back at her. Me: "Even if I was allowed to do that, I would need all of the peels." I gesture to the one in her purse, gross, and she throws it at me.
"Here's your peel, now weigh them."
Her face is getting angrier by the minute. Me: "I will have to call for a manager." That's when I notice the organic sticker on all of the peels, which means it will be more expensive, which is around $1.29 per pound in fact. She slams her hand on my register as I'm about to call. RL:
"This is ridiculous. Just weigh my hand or something."
As she is pressing her hand down, she's also squeezing the peels as hard as she can, making a huge mess of peel and banana mush. I've had it. Me: "Manager to the front, please." The manager thankfully was not far and came rushing up. Manager: "What can I do for..." He sees it's this particular lady and the mess on my register. Before he can open his mouth again, she wails at him. RL:
"Your cashier has been so rude to my family and I. All we want to do is pay for our bananas and go. She's being incredibly difficult and even made this disgusting mess."
I'm fuming at this point and my manager is getting a little ticked off, knowing this lady is a liar because I would never do something this childish. RL:
"What are you going to do about this for us?"
I turn to my manager. Me: "Her and her children ate an entire bunch of bananas, tried to leave without paying, and when I called her out on it, she told me to weigh her hand and squished these peels." The manager nodded. Manager said: "Go ahead and weigh her hand. Whatever it comes out to, she can pay that. then she's no longer welcome in our store. Of course, she's shocked and stammering, trying to claim that I lied about the entire story, and it was nothing like that. Obviously, my manager was having none of it and told her to put her banana-covered hand back on the scale. She did and pressed as hard as she could. Well, she's not too smart and forgot how scales work. She had pressed it down and it came up as about 30 pounds. Me, and your total is going to be $38.54. Will you be using cash or card? She was completely outraged and started yelling at my manager and I, calling us crooks, ironic, and that she would never pay something so ridiculous. My manager threatened to call the police and report her for theft if she didn't. She screamed some more and threw two $20 at me. I gave her the change, which she snatched out of my hand and continued to scream and curse down the exit and out the door. Me, thank you for shopping, have a nice day. For those asking why she came through my line when she did not plan on paying, in the backstory I provided, my manager would either grab new fruit and she would complain, or just wave it off and let her go. Basically, she would either pay less than what actually would have been owed, or nothing at all. For those asking about cute little old lady, her name is Edda. I asked a coworker to text me if she saw her and ask if she's okay. Nothing yet, cross your fingers. To clear up some things, no, she had nothing else except banana peels. I asked little old lady about her grandchildren in the time it took for me to process her check, maybe 15 to 20 seconds. That manager definitely reacted in an epic way, but I'm curious, if you guys were the manager at that store, how would you have handled that situation? What is the best way to F with Karen and throw her out? Even though I gotta admit that manager was a genius. The owner of the restaurant kicked out one of my tables for yelling at me about a receipt. It was my first day at a pizza restaurant. This place was always slammed. It's really where I learned how to be a good server. Before that I worked at overstaffed burger joints or Italian restaurants. Things were moving pretty fast, but I was doing surprisingly well. I had about 10 tables and I was used to 3 to 4 table sections. I will never forget this couple that came in and sat down at table 24. They were an old couple, I'm talking both grey-haired and overdressed to be at a pizza restaurant, and I would say I did give them excellent service despite my frazzledness of starting a new job. I was feeling it and felt great about handling all of my tables until I did mess up. The man at table 24 handed me his card to close out. I'm busy, like I did not even have time to pick a wedgie if I had one. Busy. I go to the computer and swipe his card. Admittedly, I forgot to print out the itemized receipt, which, I get, can be very frustrating. Man at table 24 had every right to be upset. But instead of asking me to grab the itemized receipt, he began to loudly, in a small room, with a deep and firm tone, tell me how horrible I am at my job, that no wonder I only got as far in life as working at a pizza shop. He kept going on with these terrible comments and would not let me walk away when I tried. So now all of my other tables just saw me get ripped a new a-hole and I am in the weeds after wasting time getting yelled at by this guy. The owner of the restaurant must have come in at some point. He saw this man yelling at me, came up to the table and did the most badass thing I have ever seen. Owner, "Excuse me sir," he says to the man at table 24, "I'm the owner of this establishment. I'm not sure what the problem is here and frankly I don't care. What I do care about is you belittling my waitress, so I'm going to ask you and your wife to leave and not come back to my restaurant." Man at table 24,
"Fine, but you will be losing your business."
Owner, "I really don't care and don't want people like you in my restaurant anyway." It was the coolest shit I had ever seen. The owner stood there and waited for these people to leave. It was effing badass. After they left, the owner came up to me and said, "F those people, you're doing a great job and I wouldn't have hired you if you didn't show potential. If anyone else talks to you like that, I want you to tell them to F off and get out. I don't want their money." Coolest boss ever. Did you ever have an awesome boss like that? If you did, tell us in the comments. But anyway, that's all the content I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the stories, and if you did, please leave me a like and subscribe to my channel. So I hope you have an amazing day, and I see you again tomorrow.